Hey, welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations because we're breaking out of the one we're in right now. I'm going to read to you from the book about the star card because it talks about being inspired and having hope. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the light for this one. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe it looks better in this case. All right, so I'm going to read about the star, right? Here I go. The star. You are likely to find yourself feeling inspired. You have renewed hope and faith and a sense of being truly blessed by the universe. You are entering a peaceful, loving phase in your life filled with calm energy and personal growth. Well, no wonder I picked the star card as the emblem of this podcast, because that pretty much describes where I'm at, and I'm glad that you could all join me. We must have something in common, right, everybody? So I appreciate you joining me for this voyage while we talk about tarot cards. So let's let the star card stand by over there. And hang on a second, let me get all my tools ready. So we learned a lot about tarot cards just in the last 2 months since I've been podcasting in the morning. And I want to start off with the wands. We just saw the Ace of Wands when we got our 3 cards, talking about the magic that we're making here at StarCard Podcast. Every time I toss the cards, it seems like it's some kind of magic trick, even when I'm the one that's doing it. I have no idea how it works. So anyway, sing along with Breakaway Ray, Ace of Wands. There's magic in the air. The 2 of Wands. You have the green light go. You have a good plan. The universe has got your back. The 3 of Wands. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. The 4 of Wands. Homecoming. The 5 of Wands. Conflict. Dun, 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 dun. 6 of Wands, public recognition. 7 of Wands, a challenge. 8 of Wands, it's coming at you fast. It's going to happen real soon. Well, there's the 10 of Wands. All the hard work is done. Or there's a big burden you're taking on. The Queen of Wands, have a zest for life. The King of Wands, the big picture guy. How about some more? We had the 7 of Cups, which indicates opportunities and variety, but the tarot world taught us to take a look at the 7 of Cups upside down, the reverse 7 of Cups, when we were talking about Mel Brooks on the now, oh no, I get to use the camera for this part up here. Here I go. I'm going to complain about the Lost Babe Ruth episode again. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to recover the famous Lost Babe Ruth Star Card podcast. But nevertheless, on that day, I was elaborating about the 7 of Cups and how, you could look at the gentleman down here, or maybe it's a lady, we don't know. But anyway, the back is turned, right? And they look like a conductor of an orchestra, like Mel Brooks is the director of a movie or a big production. He directed many musical numbers, okay? But anyway, that's one way you could look at it. But if you looked at it in the reverse, okay, it meant that there weren't a whole lot of opportunities and variety involved. Everything was streamlined. Everything was aligned. So it was a very clever way of the tarot world saying, when you compare Mr. Brooks's inner world and outer world, they're pretty much aligned. Can't you tell? Look at how happy that guy is, right? So it was totally appropriate. Let's go down and talk about some more cards. All right, because I'm sharing what I'm learning with you. So we talked about the 7 of Cups, and then there's the 9 of Cups, wish come true. The 10 of Cups, dreams come true. The Knight of Cups, knight in shining armor. You've heard these before. The 9 of Pentacles, fruits of your labor. The 7 of Swords, something's hidden. The Eight of Swords, my very fancy, hermetically science-based Eight of Swords expression, as much as you can imagine. The Eight of Swords, as much as you can imagine. And then the Queen of Swords always says, you were right. Tiene razón. Then how about some pentacles? The three of, oh, well, these cards are all, not all pentacles here. These are all special cards that I perceive as saying, you know what, you are in direct connection with the spirit world. So sometimes when you see like these cards, especially at the beginning of a throw or the end of a throw, it's like, you know, open quote, close quote. Three of Pentacles, teamwork. And we're talking about teamwork with the spirit world in case it's a communication thing like that. Okay. How about the Six of Swords? You're being guided from rougher waters to calmer waters by an invisible hand. The spirit world is guiding you. I wonder if you can even see the ghost in that one. Okay. The Two of Cups. I often say it looks like a 20th century television show split screen with two people talking to each other on the phone. The Two of Cups, it's a teamwork card. And speaking about teamwork, how about some intense teamwork? Teamwork, respect, love, mutual admiration. It's the Lover's card. And that's another one where if it's at the beginning of a sentence or the end of a sentence, it's pretty much like the tarot world saying out loud, this is a message from the tarot world. You heard it straight from us and we love you. Punctuation mark, exclamation point. How about that? And so now I saved the major arcana for last. Hang on a second. Let me get organized. Yeah, this is review. This is like a vocabulary check. I was going to give you a pop quiz. I guess I'm going to do that at the end of the next month. Next time I'll have the class chat their answers in the chat there. But anyway, the Fool card from the very beginning of the deck, the very beginning of the major arcana, the big events in life. The Fool card, the beginning. The Hanged Man, have another look at it. Look at it a different way. The Death card, you know, Breakaway Ray can finally chill out now about this. It just means beginnings, endings, transformations. Okay? I can chill out about the Devil card too. The Devil card just means you got to let it go. And then, you know what? The Sun card says everything's going to be all right. Everything's cool. And you know what else I noticed when we ask for readings from the tarot world? We often get the attitude of the star. You know, have hope, be inspired. I really feel like, again, we picked a good name for the podcast because that's who's delivering the answers. It's the star card. You know, when you practice with the tarot cards enough, and you know, let's say, for example, something like I did where you're doing it like maybe an hour a day, if you can really find that kind of time. I know that's hard to do. But let's just say you're practicing with the tarot cards enough. It becomes like practicing the second language. So, for example, you know, after a while, you start thinking in Spanish, you know, when you're on tour through Mexico or Spain or Venezuela or someplace like that. I remember when I was, you know, hanging around Italy and southern France. This was way back in the 80s. And in Spain, you know what? I would think of things and then I would be automatically conjuring them up in my mind in the language that I was practicing at the time. I wasn't thinking in English is what I was saying. So that's kind of what happens with the tarot cards too. You'll be going through your life and then, you know, you might pose a question to yourself and then all of a sudden a card will come to your mind almost like it's an answer, like it's a call and response. And so when you have that call and response going, aren't you generating a dialogue? If you're watching STARCARD podcast, don't you believe in the invisible world already? Don't give up on your invisible friends from when you were a kid, okay? You can have invisible friends now when you're a grown-up. Look, I'm making it work. This is so funny. If I'm doing this on the internet now for entertainment purposes only, this is great. You know, I'm making people laugh. If I was doing this just a few years ago, my family would be thinking, you know, we got to get Breakaway Ray into an insane asylum here and take control of what's going on. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, you know, that's another way to develop your intuition and a way to listen to it. You know, you pose a question inside your mind. When your mind is all clear, you're all grounded, and you're okay, now let me sort this out. What's up with this deal? Okay, and then maybe a tarot card will come to your mind. Or maybe you'll conjugate that sentence in Spanish instead of thinking about it first in English, for example. Just those are the kinds of things I like to experiment, to talk about, and share with everybody when you're tuning in the STARCARD podcast. I want to thank you for viewing. Thanks for catching my show today. And I want to thank all the subscribers. I know you heard this before, subscribers. You guys really motivate me to come out and throw cards for you. So thanks a lot. I'm going to try to keep you entertained and inspired. All right, so let's see if I got some more. All right, so after a while, we just demonstrate how you take a look at a card, and it's almost like each card has a quick story. The King of Wands, the big picture, the Eight of Swords. It's like a preposition, as much as you can imagine, a prepositional phrase, I should say. So what happens if you get like two cards? You kind of blend them together, right? It reminds me of this old gimmick. I wasn't going to even talk about this today. There's a late night comedian named Conan O'Brien, and he used to do a thing with trick photography. He would take the faces of two celebrities, and he would say, "What if you took the DNA from each and they created a child? What would that child look like?" And he blend the photos together, and it was quite disturbing and hilarious. So what I'm getting at is, I'm going to take the cards now, and I'm just going to pick out two cards, and then. All right, so I'm not looking. I'm getting one card now, and I'm getting another card right now. Okay, here I am. I got two cards. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, yeah, this is a surprise. The tarot world is totally playing around. We're going to learn something here. So we got two cards here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a story together about them. Okay, now how wonderful. I see the first card is the Empress. I'm going to put this in my pocket so you guys see I'm not doing a magic trick, okay? It's just going to stay there a second. Okay, so let me lower the camera. I don't want you to, there we go. Let me read to you what it says here about the Empress. Abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, and action. Well, if we just thought very literally about what we're doing, trying to develop our psychic abilities, trying to develop our communication with the spirit world, okay, we're getting good parenting from the spirit world. We're getting good coaching, right? Now, I obviously have my eyes were closed when I was drawing those cards. I didn't realize what was happening. Check out the magic. It's the Two of Cups. This is a message from the spirit world, right? So anyway, I put those two together and I came up with that fancy description of what we're doing right now, right? But let's try again. Let's go a little bit faster. I'm picking a card. I'm going to pick another card. I'm going to quickly turn these into a story also. Blend the meanings together. Hey, everybody. It's the Lover's card, right? We're getting all the communication cards from the tarot world. We're trying to develop our intuition and our communication with the spirit world. And it is precious, says the Four of Pentacles. This is so valuable. This is great practice. All right, so we're getting practice. We're getting practice doing two things here: communicating with the spirit world and recognizing the messages that they are sending to us. And we're also blending together two cards to make a sentence and an idea and develop a thought, right? I'm going to quit while I'm ahead because that was pretty awesome how we got those two cards about communication. But I wanted to demonstrate that. Okay, great. Makes me feel like I need to have like a second camera. See, there's no sleight of hand. I don't even have any sleeves right now, right? Nothing up my sleeve.